Unleash your inner strength and be fatigued with Patriarch's liquid oxygen. Pure spring water, oxygenated for ultimate vitality. Refresh, detox, and empower your freedom-fighting spirit. Boost your immune system with Patriarchs, the oxygenated water designed for resilience and vitality in every sip. Use my special discount code as well to get 10% off any Patriarchs order. That's patriarchs.us/Tron. I do earn a commission every single time you do make a purchase, and it goes directly towards assisting this show. Listeners of the T.R.O.N podcast, The Randomness of Nothing, I've always been honored to be having a large selection of variety of guests, many of whom have started great causes and have had global impacts. Today, this man epitomizes that dream and vision where he allows safe drinking water and protecting people worldwide from diseases such as malaria. If you've been in Cabela's or at Dunham's, you've seen their products. This is Kurt Avery of Sawyer Products. Thank you very much, sir.
Well, thank you for letting us be here. It's our honor, not yours.
Yeah, you know, it's definitely one of those topics that perked my ear up, because when you hear that people, you know, that somebody created a product and you donate 90% of your profits annually to causes for philanthropy. I mean, you couldn't make this up. So not only does it help people, but you're so generous on the back end.
Yeah, actually, we do more than 90% because we have a model. We don't make profits. We own 100%. I own 100% of the company, Sub-S. So I'm able to write a lot of stuff off. We liken it to if we made cupcakes, we'd have to sell the cupcakes, make the profits, pay the taxes, and have some money left over to give away. Because we make the very thing that people need, the water filters and the malarial treatments. I don't have to make a profit. Nobody says I have to make a profit. Bank loves what we're doing. I make all my payments. We never miss bills. We pay everybody. So what do I need a profit for? So there's no U-Hauls in heaven, so I'm not going to take it with me. So why not?
Yeah, I mean, that's amazing. That's almost sounds like kind of like the antithesis of doing something, right? On paper, certainly your cause is your cause, but how does that resonate with people when you tell them that?
Well, most of them don't believe it anyways. You think you're nuts. Well, I probably should be locked up, but that being, you know, what it's like, you only go around life once, right? So,
absolutely.
You know, I have what I call the rocking chair. You get to the rocking chair theory. What do you wish you had done? We save hundreds of thousands of babies' lives every year. We save millions of lives total. We've done some 40 million people now. How do you not do that? I mean, you're talking about, look at the life we live, you know, and I'm fine. You know, this shirt's 10 years old, it still works. So what?
That's awesome.
I do get a new truck every 4 years, though. But
it's tough to take care of yourself.
I have zero mechanical skills, so I have to get new ones. Yeah. But other than that, what do you need the money for? I mean, we live in a nice place and whatever. So when you're dealing with lives, how do you not change those lives for the good? I mean, we'll take you on something. You ever want to come on one of our trips, we'll take you, and you see where we work. Yeah. It's totally life-changing to these people. I'll give you one example that will tell you why we have to do it. Guy goes to Uganda. He notices after a week there that they don't name their kids till they're 3 years old. Well, why is that? Well, because if they make it to 3, they're going to live. But, you know, they'll lose a third of their kids before they get to 3 years old. He goes back, it's a smaller village, put in 250 filters, you know, all of like $2,000, $3,000 worth of filters. Goes back a year later, all kids are named at birth because they've never lost another child.
That's absolutely amazing.
So how do you not do that? You got to do that.
That's absolutely. I don't think the average person really realizes sometimes when you just turn on a faucet or you have your filter on your fridge, or you go to your local grocery store, supermarket, and you can just get clean water, right? And it's something that, you know, it's so matter of fact and easy to do but it's so precious for somebody else, right?
Oh, absolutely. I have plenty of stories that make you cry. There'll be some of them on the thing, but with the change to them, we've got it down now to where just a one-time investment of 30 cents can give somebody 10 years of clean water. Just for 30 cents. 30 cents, that's it. And we're the only ones that can do that. We have the only filter that doesn't allow you to get sick and also can never wear out. You just keep cleaning it. So no other it's called point of use because it's the last thing you do before the water comes through. And we don't care if the cow's pooping in it or whatever. We'll make it safe to drink.
That's amazing.
It is amazing. So how do you not do that when you have that? You know, I mean, God gave us this tool, and He didn't give it to us just to live luxuriously. I mean, we live just fine. I'm an old country boy. I got everything I need. How do you not do that?
Yeah.
Or with the new one that was just published in New England Journal of Medicine, and all this data, by the way, is published in medical journals. So
I saw that on your company website.
Yeah. We do put a lot into research to prove it, because you wouldn't believe these statements if I couldn't prove them.
Right.
I mean, they're absurd.
I mean, I think that's important too, because it's backed by scientific, breakthroughs, with all due respect.
Well, and we needed to know, because, see, we're not just giving them the filter, we're changing their life. So we're changing behavior. So we give women 3 hours a day. They don't have to boil water to drink, because now you can just filter it. And so what's she going to do with those 3 hours? Now she's got water clean enough that she can start a business. She can actually cook food, because the water she has is clean enough to do baking. And kids can go to school, parents go to work, their brains are alive because they can drink all the water they need to be hydrated. We save them 10 to 15% of their annual income. We cut down 50% the amount of fossil fuels that are used to boil water. I mean, it's hundreds of trees a year are saved by one $20 filter. So the impact is staggering, just staggering. But we had to prove it, because if I just said that, you wouldn't believe me.
I think it's very important, because, at the end of the day, it's the facts, matter when it comes to something like that. How receptive, are the governments and the local governments, institutions, for you to be able to implement this?
Oh, they love it, obviously. We can go into, we literally wipe out waterborne sickness. Right now, we've done all the suburbs around, or doing the suburbs around Nairobi, some of the biggest slums in the country. So think of a slum that has 400,000 people and 76 toilets.
Are you serious?
Yeah, that's it.
76 toilets for 400,000 people?
Correct.
Correct.
So they create what they call a flying toilet, which is they use a plastic bag and throw it. But they're closing the medical clinics. They're consolidating. They don't have enough sick people anymore.
Right.
So the governments know that, and they love it. Of course, they always want to use somebody else's money. They don't want to pay for it, but they love it when we show up. So we're in 140 different charities doing this in 80 different countries. I mean, so we're North Korea, all the worst places. Wherever.
Seriously?
Yeah. 80 countries.
You said North Korea.
Oh, yeah. North Korea. They love it. Well, look, we solved their water problem. They didn't have to do anything. This is free. I mean, think of it. It's free water, basically, and it's clean. They didn't have to do it. They don't need to build water treatment plants. Just whatever water they have, it's good. So, I mean, you can't name a part of the world that we've been in Gaza from the very beginning. I mean, we're everywhere.
And
it's so simple. I mean, the thing is smaller than a Coke can. It's half the size of a Coke can, and it never wears out.
Can I ask you, what's your background to create such an innovative and life-saving product?
Oh, I have none. I can't spell science without spell check. I'm a marketer. Really? I always get those IEs and EIs all mixed up. But I'm a marketer. So I liken it to, I have a pretty good marketer. And that's why we do go off tangent, the book, So You Think, is written for your entrepreneurs to make their businesses better. I've had a pretty prestigious career. So my skills were marketing. So here's what happens in the real world. You have customers and they have problems. Yes. They don't know what their problems are. I always use the story. Ford said, if I asked them what they wanted, they would have said a faster horse. They didn't know what problem they wanted to solve. And then you have engineers who are problem solvers, but they don't know how to talk to a consumer. One, they don't know how to figure out what the consumer really wants. And two, they think they've got a solution and the consumer should figure it out. The marketers are the in-between. We're the interpreters. We're the ones that go back and forth. We can figure out what the consumers really want and solve that problem, and then get the engineer to design it. Or if the engineer has a great idea, we can help the consumer understand what that idea was. So I'm in the middle. And all these ideas, I told my kids, you have one asset in life, don't ever lose it, and that's your integrity. So we've been very, very zealously defending our integrity. And as a result, people come to us with the ideas. Somebody else is going to invent it, but they need to take it to market, and that's where they come to us. So we're the go-between. But yes, every product we make is absolutely the state-of-the-art, best thing on the market, and we won't change from that. And that's why we're not as big as people think we are, because we're not just going for the techie stuff. Military uses us on the clothes and on the skin, and that's it. They won't use anybody else but us because we're the highest technology, and we don't soak them for the price because if soldiers duck bullets, I'm not going to rip them off.
There was a very horrible story about a Teflon maker a long time ago that circumvented how safe the bullets. I think it was during the 2003 to 2005 era. Yeah. I don't know if you remember that story, where basically the vests were supposed to be ballistic proof, and then it turns out they weren't. I mean, you can't even, to describe the absolute horror of actually faking something like that it's hard to put into words.
We'll be back after a quick break.
If you are employed or recently found yourself at the exit interview, I have a podcast for you. I'm Mark Carey, the host of the Employee Survival Guide, a podcast all about work and working. As a seasoned employment attorney, I will share with you information your employer definitely does not want you to know about and more. Stop getting screwed over by your employer. Get the tools of the legal trade to fight and win against your employer. Listen to the Employee Survival Guide by clicking the link in the show notes. Enjoy and be well.
Yeah, no. We're very connected with the military. They keep us free. I can't rip them off. Exactly. I can tell you stories how we sell so much lower price than they could get anywhere else, but that's just our commitment back to them. But overall, our prices are reasonable. So when you do get any of our products, we do send it overseas. I mean,
this is absolutely. I'm stunned, and you don't see commercials about companies like this, right? Like something that's life-changing. And I say that respectfully, right? Because this is something that if I didn't have this show, I would never have had the opportunity to talk to you about something like this. And I probably walked past it 1,000 times inside of my local sporting goods store when, you go towards the hunting section or the outdoor section.
Well, I put a lid on it. I have a very good marketing team. So it's not me. Don't give me credit for it. There's a whole bunch of Sawyer things behind me and I get the recognition, but trust me, it's a lot more than that. Yeah. I would not tell the story because I have a biblical background, and I don't believe of standing on the corner shouting about how great we are. We wouldn't be here without God's blessings, and I'm not going to take his credit. So I wouldn't do it. I would not. I mean, people, buy a shoe, give a shoe, buy a sock, give us all that. I said, no, I'm not going there. And then one day I listened to all of our competitors just brag about all they're doing. I mean, they put one filter in place and they give a great big PR thing. I said, all right, that's it. We're over. Go ahead and tell people what we're doing. So the marketing team has gotten the story out. And so people are joining us, and that's a good thing.
That's wonderful, beautiful thing. Like, so the name itself, Sawyer, I have to ask.
Tom Sawyer.
I I didn't want to say the obvious, right? Because everybody in there, anybody who's never read that book didn't go through elementary school. It's like impossible. And I was like, it seemed like a layup, but I was like, I'll figure out to ask because maybe it was.
Well, I'll tell you how smart I am in marketing. Not so much really. I originally named it SAFFETA, SAFFETA, because we started with a snakebite kit. All this started with a snakebite kit. Yeah. And that was where Paul was written on an island of Malta, and he was, you're a God. No, I'm not a God. And so it's from Acts 28, 4, 5, and 6 backwards. That's the only thing I could find in the Bible about a snakebite kit. Wow. I go to the first. I'm so smart, right? So I go to the first trade show. I go to the first trade show, and it's Buy America, 1984. Well, that didn't sound very American. So I took all our packaging back to the studio, and I said, okay, we're not going there. It can be the name of the company, but the brand name's got to be the most all-American name you can come up with. Well, and so we literally created Sawyer products with Sawyer, literally Tom Sawyer running through the woods with a backpack was the original logo.
That's wonderful.
So even marketers have to learn.
Yeah. Yeah, simple is better, right? And so, it's funny. It may not resonate with the audience that you're trying to, cultivate and everything like that. And so that's crazy. I figured it was that, but it just seemed too obvious. So yeah. When you first started, what was that spark of light? What was the inspiration for your product?
Well, it's interesting. I had a very storied business career, worked for some of the big names that you would know. Two of my bosses were on the cover of Forbes one time. I get outside and I'm a layer down below that, and I'm listening to my boss take total credit for everything I ever did. And
that'll be enough to make your blood boil.
Can't even throw me a bone. Yeah. So I said, I see how this game's going to work. So now I'm going out on my own. Now along the way, I was very fortunate to connect with Gale Sayers, the football player.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he was kind of waiting for the franchise. So he he was kind of assigned to work with me, so we got to be good friends. So I said, okay, it's time to go. So we came across this product from Pasteur Institute, actually. It's a suction
Louis
device.
Pasteur Institute in France?
Yeah, that's where they invented this. It's called the extractor. It's still in Walmart today.
Yeah.
It's for bee stings and snake bites. And so I said, that's a pretty good idea. So we started the company on that and immediately crashed, forgot to throttle back from corporate marketing to guerrilla marketing.
Oh, wow.
So I always say we lost money 23 of the first 25 years till we became an overnight success.
Oh, jeez. I saw
so
that.
We slugged it through, and it was the internet that really, because we always had good stuff. When the internet took off and you had influencers like yourself, and particularly in the backpacking camping industry, you have influencers, they have to talk about us. We had all the best products. Right. And we had reinvented water filtration from clunky old things to low-cost things, from kidney dialysis. You can clean blood, you can clean water. So we totally disrupted the whole market. They put us on the map because you couldn't be an influencer and not talk about the best stuff.
Of course.
And so that's when we really took off, just absolutely took off as a company. So that's when we became an overnight success after 23
years in the making. Yeah, that's your 25 years. So how do you decide and discern which organizations to partner with?
We do the whole spectrum. I mean, we're with NGOs, for NGOs. We donate a lot each year, but we also sell at cost. They all want us. So we're the whole spectrum. I will sell everybody. We sell the Red Crescent. We sell the Red Cross. We sell Samaritan's Purse. Samaritan's Purse keeps 2 plane loads of our filters. So whenever there's a hurricane, boom, they're in there. So now people going ahead of a hurricane and hunker down. Remember in Puerto Rico when they had all that water rotting on the tarmac?
Oh my God.
Got there too late. We were there before the hurricanes hit. Wow. We could take one duffel bag and do 20, 30,000 people. So Helene, remember we had Helene in Tennessee? Yes. We sent 100,000 filters up there with the Red Cross and with private people. We flew them in day 2. We have a hiking community. The hikers took it up to where helicopters and people couldn't get to. They were hiking to the remote people so they could drink the water they were standing in. So we're everywhere. Whenever there's any natural disaster, we're there. Haiti put us on the map, 2010. A couple 100,000 filters went down there. Yeah. Pretty much that's all they were drinking. And all the charities knew that at the end, this was the one that worked. There were 19 other water solutions. And at the end of the day, they asked them, what do you use personally? And they all used our filters personally. So, and it was so easy. These things are so cheap and they never wear out. So we have filters in their 15th year still working every day. So
this is absolutely amazing.
Yeah, it's we pinch ourselves. I mean, it's mind blowing. Why us? Couldn't you have picked somebody else? No, he picked us. So
what's the procurement and development process like? I'm not asking obviously for you to give away anything proprietary, but what's the science behind actually making sure that this is effective? The engineering process, the teams. Like, how did it get to the point where it was this good of a product?
Yeah, and that is really a key point because we adapted it from kidney dialysis, this water filter that, if you clean blood, you can clean water. But there's a lot, this technology has been around for a long time, but you have to pick and choose. So we hooked up with a company that your hair is 17 microns diameter. Bacteria is a lot smaller. So our largest hole is 0.1 microns, which is 170 times smaller than the diameter of your hair. That's the largest hole, if you can imagine it. And it kind of works like, those hoses that you lay out on the lawn and the water squirts out in the middle of the hose?
Yeah.
Yeah, so think of it going the opposite way. The water will go into the hose and come out the end, but the holes are so small, the things that make you sick can't get through. Now, there's viruses, but they're not in the water. They're airborne and body fluid.
Right,
so.
Viruses and bacteria are 2 different things, people, just so people are aware.
Yeah, right. So when you hear the word purifier, it says you get viruses. But we don't have to worry about them. They're not there. And I can't get into how we do it because the EPA would get mad at me, but we probably get them anyways because of the very nature of the viruses. We can't prove because of the way the technology improves it. But anyways, so other people say they have 0.1 microns, but they don't. They do. But they also have 0.2, 0.5, whatever. We're the ones, we guarantee that no filter no hole is greater than the one that will stop everything. And so when we manufacture it, we test it. We throw things backwards, and if anything can get through that's bigger than 0.1, we throw that one away.
Wow.
Then when we assemble it, we air test it 2 more times to make sure the seal has worked, the casing, and the O-rings are in place. Nobody does that. So, I mean, we spent a lot of money because we can't go into Africa and say, you know what, 90% of you people are going to be okay. The other 10, you're still going to get sick.
No question. Nobody's collateral damage.
Yeah. No, you got to go in and say nobody can get sick from this filter. But we pay for it. But then again, they make 10 or 50,000 of these things. We make millions. So we get it back in economies of scale. And, again, since we're not trying to make money on it, we can keep that cost very, very, and it lasts for 10 years. So when you average it out, when one filter do 200 gallons a day for 10 years, that comes out, you round it off to the decimal, and it's zero. It's just nothing. The water is free.
Right. How did you get into North Korea? I'm circling back to how does North Korea find your product? Obviously, the leadership of the country has access to outside information. How does that process even work?
You go in through the churches, bring it in. There's a lot of people that cross the border and bring in Bibles and start churches. I'll give you an example of in Vietnam. We first put it in there, and the guy was a missionary, and he brought the filters with him, and they would beat him up, and because he was preaching, whatever. But then he started passing out the filters and said, okay, you can have a home church, but you can't go outside. You can't be, it's all got to be in. And he kept giving out the filters. And then he said, okay, you can have a thing in the park right here, but you can't go anywhere else, And it kept getting more and more and more. And finally he had lunch with the mayor and whatnot. And he said, 2 years ago, you put me in prison and beat me the daylights out of me. Now you're letting me do everything. It was all because of the filters. How do we can go in? We're hoping that within 2 to 3 years, within Guatemala, nobody ever be sick again. We can do that. Beautiful. It's not 30 cents a person.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. Yeah, it almost seems too easy that people wouldn't have this access worldwide. Do you have any resistance to your products as you try to, say that this is the language, cultural barriers, politically speaking?
You do. First of all, the government say it's great, but they don't want to put a penny into it, even though they're going to save money. I said, well, what happens if nobody gets sick and we can grow your country by 10% GDP? Yeah. But they have that old plantation mentality, and there really is a divide between the people in power and the rest of us. You get into a lot of these countries, and the people in power, I don't care what, it doesn't matter whether it's Central America, Africa, or Asia. A lot of the people in power don't really want to give it up. We do get that, usually in the form of customs. They nail us for the price.
That's what I was wondering.
We have so say the filter's worth $15 or whatever, and they want to collect $30 in taxes on it. We have to walk away from it. We just leave it. Crazy. What do you do? Yeah, that's crazy. So that resistance, but no, I think we're about to, the model now is we go in through the schools, and yes, it is donated, or we have people that partner with us. So the teachers, we have it at the school. So all the water you want is at the school for the kids, and the community can come in and get all the water they want. So then they teach the kids about it. And then they bring the parent in, they teach the parent. Then they send a filter home with them. And typical home one filter will do 10 to 20 people. They do their relatives and their neighbors because it's so fast.
That's amazing.
So that's the model. We're now going, we've connected with 2 big organizations, Child Hope, which has 900 schools throughout Central South America. It's so simple. I mean, they love it. And the schools or the churches, why wouldn't you give out free water and let people come and visit you every day? And then we use OAS, Organization of American States. They're in every one of the 37 members from the Caribbean to South and Central America. They're funded by the U.S. government. State Department funds them. So we're working out programs now. We're pretty far up into the government now, trying to say, just think if we went into El Salvador and a year from now, nobody was sick. Or just think if we went into Guatemala and 2 years from now, nobody's sick. That has a lot of foreign policy implications.
Well, a lot of the, contrary to popular opinion, this certainly isn't a political show, but a lot of conflicts arise from lack of food and water.
Well, absolutely. Yeah. Well, here's another thing. And we're for everybody. Okay. Even though Christians do 80% of the work, we work with everybody. You know, we're in Egypt with Red Crescent and all that kind of stuff. Going to go back to the one we finished at 400,000 people with 76 toilets at Kibera in Nairobi. If you 4 years ago, before we started, if you tried to walk down that street, you would really want to bring a SEAL Team 6 with you. It was so dangerous. There were 8 gangs warring all the time, kidnapping. You know, you can walk down the street all by yourself right now, middle of the day. It makes no difference.
Because
because
people
the gangs have stopped fighting.
Right. Because those things, you know, resources and accessibility to food, water, clean, and sanitation. I mean, you live in a normal, you know, I don't say normal. You live in a more advanced technological area. You're not thinking about maybe your next meal or or turning on the sink or washing your clothes. And sometimes, you know, it's not just drinking water. You have to take a bath. You know, you have to.
You got to wash your vegetables. You know.
Yes. So
you got to learn how to get rid of your fecal matter.
Oh my gosh.
We are behavior change. All of our filters come with a QR code on them.
Yeah.
And we can measure it. And so you want us to participate. We know within 6 inches where that filter is. And so we go back and we go back and back. But we have animations in 18 languages. So and they all have smartphones. I mean, they don't have food, but they got smartphones. So you go right to the help desk in your language, learn how to clean it if you got issues. We're not just a filter. We're a behavior change.
Without question.
Company, and we have WhatsApp, so we can now communicate. You can ask us, we go that. So it's far more than just say here's a filter. It's the whole thing.
Yeah, because sometimes you'll see those commercials, right? And it's kind of like it's kind of prettied up, like, oh, get your best glass of water, and then you know they have the beautiful hand showing, and you know somebody's drinking a cup in a kitchen, and it's more of an aesthetically pleasing, the freshest, purest water. When in reality, this is life and death. Right.
Well, to the rest of the world. Over here, we're just taking out taste. By the way, we do have microplastics in our water, even out of our tap, and this will take out microplastics.
Unbelievable.
So, no, it's a game changer. And it's going to be the same thing with the baby wraps. You know, we treat those things. 6% of all the babies die from malaria, and we're just going to stop it. We stopped it. And even those who don't die, if they get malaria, end up with some kind of cognitive restrictions for the rest of their life. So it's very simple. Just costs $1.30 a treatment. Lasts 6 months. You just treat the wrap that the mom carries the baby in, and the mosquitoes stay away. Yeah, and now I think if we treat the mom's dress as well, we're going to pretty well wipe it out.
This is one of the most inspirational stories that I've ever heard, you know, on this show, and I've had the pleasure of talking to numerous guests because this is about life, right? And you've straddled the line, but you know, you could really take advantage of a very delicate situation, you know, with the product that you have, and you haven't done that, and that's very commendable. And I want to personally say thank you for that.
Well, it obviously it's fun, it's very rewarding, but there is the burden that goes with it. You know, the urgency started many years ago, 2006 or 7, whatever it was. We put the filters in the village, and the grandma just crying her eyes out, saying, "If you were here 2 weeks ago, my grandson would still be alive." So you have that sense of urgency. Yeah. And you know, and then I look at it, you know, it's the God thing. You know, God, why now is He ready to take bacteria out of water so nobody dies? I mean, how many people die of waterborne diseases every year? And we can stop it. And it's not just the death; it's the sickness. Right. You know, there's no diapers over there, folks. You know, there's no toilets. You get diarrhea. I mean, most places, even the adults get diarrhea once a month.
Oh my gosh!
Just think if you never had it again.
Right. It's kind of, you know, it stops you in your tracks because, you know, I mean, where I live at, and I say this very respectfully, there's a running joke in my house, like the water sanitation system it's far enough away that I don't have to smell it. But when you go like 5 minutes, 10 minutes from my house, you know, you kind of have to gag in your car a little bit.
That's the sewage treatment plant, not the water treatment.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. No, they're nasty.
Oh, man. Whew. And so, but to your point, like, I don't have to be around that all day. Like, that's not something I walk around and, you know, have to dodge and duck and see people have to defecate in the streets and things like that. Right. Yeah. So, you know, you don't realize how precious that's still a self-contained system unto itself. and they have, health regulations and safety protocols. Yeah, it sucks to drive past it, but once you drive past it for 2 minutes, it's gone. The whiff is gone. It's not something that's my normal everyday life. And that kind of even makes me think twice before that, be complaining about that because I'm 10 minutes away from that.
Oh, I tell you what, they would love to have the water we wash our cars and water our lawns with.
That's amazing. That's amazing. I would love to be able to pick your brain, for hours on end, because I'd always believed that when topics like this, they aren't worthy of a 30-minute discussion. But in the service of your time and the respect that I have to make sure that we encompass this in your schedule, obviously I'd love to have a part 2. Where can people find Sawyer Products, Kurt Avery, just for the purpose of this show, not because you need me?
No, you just go to Sawyer.com. You can reach me that way. We have the foundation. It's called the Sawyer Foundation. So I've got it set up that when I lose my skills mentally, physically, whatever, company literally goes to the foundation. Like Hershey owns Hershey Chocolate. Sawyer Foundation will own Sawyer. I can sell this thing. I get offers once, twice a week. So we're not going to let it go because it's not about the money. It's about the mission. So they can go to SawyerFoundation.org. It's a 501c3. If they want to donate, every dollar that's donated will go overseas. No overhead coverage, whatever. Sawyer does that. Or if you buy our products, all the profits are heading over there anyway. So come join us. Again, your audience is entrepreneurs. They should take a look at getting the book Sawyer Think. It's very cheap, very inexpensive. You can get it on Amazon, obviously. It's how to make your business better. I got 25 tips that I've learned along the way. And remember, I got my MBA at Northwestern Marketing, which is the best school in the country. And I worked for some very good companies. 25 tips to make your business better. And if we help you make it better, now you can be more philanthropic yourself with whatever you're at. Everybody's got a skill set. The world needs your skill set somehow. So we want to help you join us.
I certainly think that if it wasn't for the show, that I would never have the opportunity to learn about, products or talk to people such as yourself and be able to tap into that level of curiosity. See, because sometimes, some things are just manifested from my personal curiosity, but sometimes you can meet somebody who's changing lives and actually dealing with the matters of life and death. And in this particular episode, had me pumped in a number of different ways, because the idea that that water, something that we literally play with as a game, for somebody, it doesn't even resonate as an everyday. It's a struggle to get access to it. And so it always kind of brings you down a notch that you're grateful to be able to have the technology at our disposal on this side of the globe. Some people don't on this side of the globe too, to not take that for granted. So, and that's all, not even touching the malaria and the other infectious diseases that you stop. So thank you for changing lives and making the global impact that you have.
Well, it's our honor, but we really appreciate you giving us a voice. So that many more people are going to know what the possibilities are.
I just get to talk to people who do it. So like I've kind of found my niche, so to speak. I've always said to all my guests, they create wonderful things. I'm certainly not smart enough to do what you all do, but I have at least a fraction of the ability to ask about it, right?
Yeah. Well, they're welcome to join us. They can either participate financially or, we'll take people with us. I mean, I have 140 charities. Their arms are open. Come with us. Walk beside us, see what we do.
I hope somebody listening certainly reaches out to you. And I certainly have, when the camera stops rolling, some people that I think that would benefit from your services as well, too. So this is Rashad Woods on the Randomness of Nothing podcast. It's not often that I get to talk to somebody that saves lives, but I want to thank Kurt Avery, Sawyer Products, for all the wonderful services that you do globally. And this one's up here when it comes to what my experience was being able to interview on this show. And I'm very grateful.
Well, we're grateful you gave us a chance. So thank you.
God bless.
God bless you.
That's amazing.